We're back. Tuesday. What is up, Justin? Feels good to be back. It feels like it's been a week since we've done one of these, but we're back. Market Movers is live. How you doing, man? You're on mute, buddy.
I'm muted. Yep, we are officially back now. No, but it's been a great weekend for me in terms of just like getting out of the city, having a good time. But yeah, we didn't get to do the show on Friday. Excited to be back, sort of break down the whole slate. Just a reminder for everybody tuning in, we are doing the show 3 times a week now. We are doing Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 12:30. Sometimes we move around. Some people got to be on CBS Sports. It happens. But you know, we're here. We're going to break everything down today. We're going to talk about how we would approach betting the games and get back into what we love doing.
Yep, it's going to be a fun day. I've got a lot of tennis action early as well. Fun time at Wimbledon right now. Fun time of the year, really. Everyone talks about the summer being kind of like the dog days of summer. I actually enjoy it a lot. Just a lot of baseball. Get some of these big tennis events. Obviously still have golf, so love it. Yeah. And college football and the NFL will be here before you know it.
I think, what is it, like 3-4 months right now? 4 months till the NFL season kicks off, or less, right?
Less, for sure, less. Yeah. So I mean, it's basically July 1st. So
it's 4 months till the NBA season kicks off. I'm sorry. I think it's 4 months till NBA is back, which is crazy. But let's go. We got maybe a quick tennis question from Sean. I mean, maybe you want to touch on it. I know probably.
Yeah. I'll take the tennis question. If it's a Twitter question, maybe I missed it. I haven't seen it. Type the question, I guess, Sean. I don't know what the question is. So if I know the question, I can maybe try to answer it, but I can't. Yeah,
read minds over here. But all right, are you looking at any bets for the NBA while we sort of wait for any questions to come in before we dive into baseball?
I mean, if you want to play the Bucks, I think it's totally fine. It's just going to come down to whether you think that Trae Young is healthy or not. He did participate in shoot around. I think he's going to try to play. Obviously, I can't imagine him not going out there and trying. I'm guessing that with the day and a half, he's had time to recover a little bit.
Yeah.
Towards the end of that game, he was more of a liability than anything, being out there on the floor for, at least a 2-minute stretch there. He was a legitimate liability being on the floor for the Hawks. Is that going to happen again? Is he going to let the ego and everything else get in the way and want to play? I shouldn't say the ego. The heart would probably be a more appropriate way to describe that than the ego. But is he going to let that stand in the way? Are the Hawks going to let that stand in the way? We shall see. But if you want to blindly bet the Bucks thinking Trae Young could get potentially ruled out, I mean, I think the number is pretty appropriate at 6.5, assuming that that's where it still is. It's creeping up to 7 now on DraftKings, it looks like. But I mean, I think it's pretty efficient where it is, but it could easily be a double-digit blowout if Trae is limited in any capacity, for real.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the line people are targeting is Trae's like point total, because if he plays and he's hurt and he tries to play and he doesn't, he could come out early. You can take the under. I think it's at like 28.5. So you can grab that and like maybe take that into a parlay if you want to maybe even like take an alternate line under, because it just doesn't seem like a game he's going to go off for 34, 35 points. He might be more of a distributor. We'll have to see. It's going to be an interesting one. I mean, I'm definitely feeling good about that bet that we have with our buddy Larry. Going to be get down to hopefully game 5 here, which is about where we thought it would be. I mean, there was probably a good chance for this sweep, honestly, if we didn't get a little shock and awe in game 1 and catch the Bucks off their guard a little bit. But it's going to be a good one tonight. Hopefully we can force that final game scenario and cash a little Sports Line Showdown. That's what we're calling it. The Sports Line Showdown bet.
Yeah, no, definitely looking forward to cashing that. We'll see if Larry's interested in the buyout offers that are potentially been submitted. Yeah. Just having some fun with that. But Yeah. All right. I'll take the tennis question real quick. Basically saying he has better odds to. I'll throw it up on the screen so that way you guys can see it. There we go. He has better odds to win Wimbledon than his opponent, but the opponent is minus 200 in the head-to-head today. Yeah, that's part of the reason why we like the over 40.5. It does correlate really well to plus 1.5 sets. Some of what's going on here is it is a tough matchup for both players individually. It's kind of a really pretty difficult draw for both. I think that with Nick, his issue is he just hasn't played a lot of tennis, right?
Right.
That's kind of why we see that. If he can sneak past this round, he's live to have a deep run, right? It's just this tough first round matchup. Both of them are excellent players on grass. The reason why I have the play that I do is one thing that Nick has when he's on, even just a little bit, even without playing a lot of tennis, is he's got a ridiculous serve, right? And that ridiculous serve is going to put enough pressure on that I think he's going to win a lot of his service games. He's probably not going to break very often at all, but I do think he's going to win enough of his service games to push this. All he's got to do here is basically steal one of the sets. And I think that happens because I think that if he steals one of the sets, the games are going to each set's going to go deep enough because, again, I think he's going to win his service games. I think he's going to have a really tough time breaking him, but yeah, that's where we're at on it here. I made it 42 if you watch the early edge. So I think there's a pretty big, in tennis terms, that's a pretty meaningful edge on both sides of those. I don't know if Justin has any thoughts on it. He is also.
Not really too many thoughts. I definitely do not spend as much time analyzing tennis right now. It's definitely something I'll be picking up. I actually, I've played tennis most of my life. Mike and I will eventually be broadcasting our match live feed to you guys one day as partly a joke, but also to watch to see if I can beat him. But no, it's a fun sport, but I'm not really too familiar with like the level of every single player. So I'm not really going to take my time handicapping it, stick with my baseball, stick with the NBA. But yeah, I think we got a full slate of baseball today. Everything starts at night. So I think there's going to be some eyes on soccer. We have some sports line plays on those. Kind of been fun with that. Been cashing some bets that way. But nothing really from me. I don't know if you personally do any of your own soccer handicapping for daytime stuff. But we can just sort of get into the baseball. Really nice slate. I mean, I'm seeing a bunch of stuff that, some weather impacts, some great hitting conditions today across the country. Again, it's getting warm. Like it is so hot everywhere. And like hot, sticky weather means the baseball travels farther. So we're not really going to complain. We're seeing higher dew points. We're seeing like air density indexes in like Oakland close to like, 68 today, 69 in Oakland by the end of the game. So it's going to be really interesting tonight. So I don't know, any games that you're eyeing? Should we just go through the slate?
Yeah, I think we'll just head through the slate. I think that's kind of probably going to be the easiest way to do this one today. But I will mention, like you said, incredible hitting environments across the board, and pitchers definitely do not have any tacky substance of any kind. So those two things typically mean run scoring.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. So first game I'm seeing is my Yankees and the Angels. I mean, I don't even really want to talk about them. I'm so upset, man. I'm so upset about the Yankees. Like they're too streaky. We're 78 games into the season. They've lost 4 in a row. They dropped to the Angels last night. Mm-hmm. They can't even beat the subpar teams. There's no Mike Trout out there. You can't back them on a money line for juice. I don't think you can put your money behind them. They might be able to win tonight, but Heaney's been a lot better recently. Tyone has been up and down. I'm not really sitting here rushing to go play the Yankees tonight. I don't even think it's worth, doing anything but fading them until they can show they're competent.
Yeah, I think that I like the initial glance of this game is going to be an over or nothing for me, even at 10. My median number is close to 11 on this one, so I like it getting it at 10 without laying any juice on it. The question I have for you, I guess, is are you confident Tyone's going to continue to pitch well at home? Like, is there any objectively, is there any reason why he would be pitching better in that environment?
I'm taking a look at sort of the games that he's pitched. If Yeah, if I can pull up his game logs really quick here. Yeah, he's just pitched a lot at home. So he pitched last time at home is like 5 of his last 6 starts have been at home. So he's just very comfortable pitching here right now, it seems. He got shelled pitching against the Phillies when he visited them. But he was, he just still hasn't even been great. He doesn't really get through the 6th inning all that often. This Angels offense can hit the ball decently. Ohtani does bring a lot of danger to that lineup. I'm not really afraid of him if I'm a batter, honestly. Like his stats aren't all that great. He gets hit pretty hard. His expected batting average, expected ERA are average at best. He has high spin rates, but who knows if that's been down recently. It looks like it's been below average the last 50 to 100 plate attempts. Or plate appearances. So, it's this is tough. My guess is that the Angels have value in terms of just the fact that they could very easily beat this Yankee team that is just in the gutters.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned basically average at best. Both of these pitchers in terms of like weighted on base average, expected weighted on base average are really pretty close to league average. The one thing that stands out for both of them is the expected slugging is creeping up to the point where it's above average. So when they're getting hit, they are definitely getting hit hard. A lot of power, a lot of great. I mean, it's just a great hitting environment today, right?
Right.
So you're looking at this game, air density 61 is relatively low for New York City there for this game. The actual temperature game time is 90 degrees still.
Dude,
60% humidity. It's literally the heat index is over 100 degrees. Wind's going to be blowing out just a little bit. That baseball should fly at Yankee Stadium.
Home run prop night. Home run props, I'm thinking.
Potentially. I like the over if you're looking to play it. That's just where I'm at on it. I think that I'm not expecting a massive game from Jameson Taillon. I think that the Yankees should be able to hit Andrew Heaney. They're a frustrating team. No doubt about that. But
they are.
They're like Heaney's going to see 9 right-handed hitters today, right? 9.
Yeah. It's crazy the way they built this team. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
And he's been decent against righties, which is a reason to maybe back him. I mean, I don't hate them on like that first 5 run line. Again, the Yankees seem to score late. They seem to figure it out when they finally feel like they need to hit or else the game's over. They wake up slow. I feel like they're just not, their head isn't in it. They know the team isn't constructed right. They know they don't have like everybody, healthy and pitching and well and batting well. They're in 4th in the AL East. They're only ahead of the Orioles. Come on, man. And what you're gonna get plus 35 cents to fade this team. I mean, Angels have won 4 in a row. No, 2 in a row. Sorry. They beat the Rays. Now they beat the Yankees. I mean, they looked like they might. Yeah, they do need George Steinbrenner back. I think you can't really fire a GM in the middle of the season. It's not really gonna work. But at the same time, do you want Cashman making our trades for the trade deadline right now? I personally don't. Like I am fed up with the Yankees. It's just not. Nope. All right, let's just move on. I'd fade the Yankees on the money line. I'd even fade them if you want to be even safer. They've only covered twice in their last 10. Fading them on the run line, they'll probably only win by 1. They'll have like a hard fought victory if they manage to win. So you could take the run line for the Angels probably too.
We got a couple questions about props. We'll hit those before we move to the next game.
Yeah.
You might have different thoughts than I do, but betting props, they're mostly juiced to the point where you're basically taking unders or you're not taking them at all. For the most part, not in every case, but the issue is the juice is higher on a prop than a side or a total, and the limits are a lot lower. So those are the issues that you run into. So that's why I don't really play any player props, especially in baseball. The only thing that I say constantly to people wanting to play pitcher props, obviously price is very, very, very important. And, you're talking about in an elite situation, someone might have a 30% probability of striking out the batter, right? So
yes. Elite.
elite, like the elite conditions, elite setup, all of that, right? So when you take that extra, I'm going to bump up half a strikeout or a full strikeout from 6.5 to 7.5. Just understand that you're saying that you need that pitcher to go an extra 1.2 innings just to be able to get that. On an average league average pitcher, it's 1.2 innings.
Yeah. And you can't be afraid to take the unders because they definitely are juiced to the over because that's what the public likes to play. That's what you want to have happen. It's easier to root for more strikeouts than it is to like dread it when it happens. And it's like a mental thing. People don't like unders, so they're actually always going to be shaded towards overs. Unless obviously things start like getting juiced the other way. Like sometimes they'll go towards the under, but normally the consensus is that overs are usually the more popular bet. It's what people want to root for, and that's usually what people bet. People bet what they like to see win, and that's kind of a fatal flaw. But we always talk about that a little bit here and there. But all right, let's move on to the next game. Don't need to spend any more time than that on the Yankees. I have the Marlins and the Phillies. What are you thinking there?
Another very interesting one. Trevor Rogers on the mound is maybe a source of value again on the total. It's obviously another game in the Northeast, identical hitting conditions for the most part to the Yankees game here. Total is a run lower. Obviously it's a National League game, not an American League game. Don't love Vince Velasquez in these hitting conditions. That's just the question, right? The only thing I'll say about it is the baseline for his baselines to where he's pitching tonight, significantly different, right? He's not used to pitching in this environment overall. The wind's going to be helping even more in Philly tonight. I like the over again in this one. If I had to pick between the two, I think there's just insane hitting environments across baseball today.
Yep, I'm with you. I mean, this game looks like it has just some nice numbers. I mean, we're seeing the wind's going to be blowing out at 9 miles an hour. Like it's going to be super humid. It's going to be really hot, 93 degrees during the game. I was just down there. It is just as bad as it is here in the city in New York. I mean, I don't think that we're going to see like 11 or maybe I don't think we're going to see like 12 or 13 runs, but like double digits like has a good chance of getting there better than what you're being offered, which is what makes it a good bet, right? We're not sitting here like you'll never hear Mike and I say 100%. Like if you're new to watching the show, we don't say, oh, lock it in, drop the hammer, like put, at your max bet. Like we do a methodical 1 unit bet. So this clearly indicates that type of play for me. This is one that you'll probably see me talking about later tonight at 5, writing something up about. This is a really great hitting conditions tonight in Philadelphia. And, the Phillies, the offense is not anything to be like, ignoring at all. So, it looks like the sharp money's on the over. I do like.
Yeah, we clearly missed this one this morning.
You could have gotten 8. 8.5 would have been nice. But still, even that 9 number is still like a push condition compared to what it was as a win condition.
Yep.
Again, I'm not going to run and chase it, but it is probably the play tonight.
Yep. 100% still the play in the simulations for me as well. Just there was a massive edge on that 8. I didn't get up and run numbers this morning, unfortunately. But
Tuesdays are my late day too. So, it's never fun to miss juicy lines, but you know what? The hope is that we talk to you guys through like how we look at games and you can eventually like take a look at these types of conditions yourself and make these judgments on your own. I mean, this isn't anything that's being hidden. We talk to you about using like Baseball Savant. We talk about, Weather Edge from Roto Grinders. We talk about Baseball VMI. Like these data sources are all out there if you want to access them yourself. Nothing's really being shrouded around here. But we analyze them very diligently and run models. But anyway, on to the next. Tampa Bay Rays, Washington Nationals, Kyle Schwarber literally playing stupid. I don't know if you saw that interview. He was saying he just doesn't even think about it. He just goes up there and swings the bat. I think it's 14 home runs in how many days? 12?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Tougher spot for him tonight against the lefty, though. Much tougher. The question I have is, how do Chicago Cubs fans feel right now? They ended up letting Kyle Schwarber walk for the $8 million and signed Jock Peterson for what, like 7-1?
Yeah.
It's less than $1 million total. The difference between Peterson and Schwarber this year.
It's and that's exactly how their production's been too, right? You know, no, definitely not. But anyway, it's gonna be, that's a good one. I mean, he's raking. They have another decent look at another great hitting environment tonight. Solid 10% boost to the run scoring that normally happens at this park. It's not always the best park for hitting, but you know, that is sort of factored into the lines you get. Because if they just gave you like a standard line, you'd always take unders, right? So, but yeah, this one should be another overplay. Wind blowing out, 92 degrees in Washington tonight. I don't know. Are you in agreement?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely in agreement. I was questioning when you said it wasn't a great hitters park. It's actually a top 10 hitters park for sure.
Oh, am I just wrong? Am I thinking of a different? Am I thinking of maybe Philly? Is that normally not as good? I don't even.
No, they're both.
They're both pretty good, right? I got to.
Yeah, they're both top 10 for sure. Phillies is 5th, Nationals is 9th.
It's
they
hard
just
to
have
keep track
been
of
an under team. They've been an under team at home so far this year for whatever reason. But worth noting, this one also, you've kind of missed the boat on playing the total. This one's risen a whole run in the market as well. It's to the point where it's more efficient than the other two. The first two we talked about have a little bigger edge for me. Some of the better players for the Nationals, basically Soto and Schwarber right now, are both going to be losing the platoon advantage against Rich Hill. That hurts them just a little bit. But overall, story of the day is elite hitting environment. Total has, you might be able to get 9 still in some places, but it looks to be 9.5, moving a full run. Nationals very clear sharp side in this one, about 65 to 70% of the action coming in on the Rays, yet the Nationals have moved from plus 115 to minus 110.
Yep. So that's a telltale sign. I mean, the Nationals have won 2 in a row. They beat the Mets in that little one-off game. I think it was a makeup because my action app kept bringing up like an old bet that I placed for the original one. I had the over, so it would have hit. No, but anyway. Oh no, I don't think no, that was the Reds game. I'm Jesus. Welcome to Tuesdays for me. But no, so anyway, the Nationals should be able to take this off Rich Hill. They're just hitting really well. They're going to be at home. The hitting conditions are going to be great, and they're essentially raking.
Yep. Oh, what just happened there? I don't know what just happened on my camera, but that's all right. Next. There, right? Yeah, I'm still here. What's the which game you want to hit next? Mariners?
All right. Sure. Mariners, Blue Jays are going up to Buffalo. It's still just the funniest thing to me. No real boost to anything tonight. There's not a lot of data for this park in terms of like what you're going to see, in terms of like, is this going to be a better game than what is normally played there? I think you probably just stay away from this one, maybe lean towards the Blue Jays, but no real thoughts for me.
Yeah, no, I have no thought on it there. I mean, it makes sense. Robbie Ray's someone I've been wanting to potentially fade a little bit, but not going to do it against this team. Pretty easy stay away. Worth noting that, if Ray continues to pitch the way he does, the Seattle team has been no hit multiple times so far this season. With his strikeout rate, this could be an interesting under play on a day where everything else looks like overs. This could be one of those games where it's 7-1 Blue Jays, right? And the Blue Jays crush their team total. They're great plays in daily fantasy, and the game still goes under. I think that is one you could look at for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying that, they should be due for like 5+ runs. My guess is the team total is probably going to be around 5.5. Seattle Mariners probably going to be around, 3.5. I haven't actually taken a look, but that's probably where they're going to come in tonight. It's going to be an interesting one. I don't hate the Rays on the run line because they are pretty heavily favored here, minus 230 in most spots. But still, this just has a lot of variance, right? Robbie Ray does come with a lot of variance, and he could also be throwing meatballs at that. The Mariners could could put a couple balls in play in this park and score 3 or 4 runs. So it could really go either way, which is why it's probably going to be a stay away for me.
Yeah, I mean, if you really love the, obviously the biggest thing I tell people all the time, like you can get exposure to it through daily fantasy. So there's more than enough action on the board, like no reason to force it, right? If you feel like you have to force it, feel like you have to have some exposure. I don't hate the -2.5 alt line coming back +140. Don't hate it. Yep. So all going to come down to whether or not you think Robbie Ray is going to shut him down or not.
Yeah, I mean, the Mariners are a good team to fade in these scenarios. Again, they are one of those teams that just can sometimes fall flat. But anyway, no real need to talk about it, and I'm not going to be betting on that game tonight. So on to the next. I have the Padres and the Reds. The Reds finally had their bats wake up last night. They put up, I think, 12 runs at the end of that game. Towards the end of the game, they were actually losing, and they just put it on. So, it was quite the show. And now the Padres are coming to town. They're rested. They did not play yesterday. I mean, do you think this one is also going to go over, or do you think this is like a place that could potentially be a sneaky underplay with Snell pitching and Santillan, who isn't awful?
I have Gutierrez as the starting pitcher for the Reds in this one.
Oh, interesting.
We'll see if
that today.
Potentially. But yeah, Snell on the road. I do lean over. The market has moved this one a half run already as well. Big VMI number for the Padres. Big boost in their baseline overall. I like it here. You give them a 9th inning team at bat. I talk about it all the time. Obviously great for daily fantasy, but also great when you're betting the over if the better team is for sure going to bat in that 9th inning, right? Much better situation for your over. And it's projected to be a relatively competitive game in the market, right? Only -135 road favorite there. So I do lean over as well. Maybe Santillan is starting. I'm not sure yet.
Santillan, yeah, I don't even know how to say his name, but I think he is going tonight. He isn't all that great. His expected ERA is 6.06. His actual ERA is 3.29. So take that with a grain of salt. 254 pitches thrown, 37 batted balls, 5 barrels. So that's 13.5 barrel percent. I mean, launch angle is like 22.5. This is just weighted on base average 363. It's not really pretty here. 48.6 hard hit percent. Walk rate 12.5 so far. So he hasn't thrown a lot, but it also hasn't been great. Yeah, this might be an over spot for sure. I mean, this guy has he managed to throw 6 innings of 1-run ball against the Braves in his last outing here at the Great American Ballpark, but he's already faced the Padres on the road and he gave up 3 in 3 innings. I gave up 2 home runs, so I think he could probably get shelled again today.
Yeah, and it does say I have Santillan as the starting pitcher, so that is correct. That's my only lean on the game is over. I mean, if you want to blindly bet your Padres, it's typically a spot where I'm going to caution just a little bit, but they're the better team. They definitely should win.
Yep.
So
it's a tough one, though. It's definitely a tough one. These Reds can really come alive. But, talking about how good teams have been in the last couple of weeks, Padres are really, really up there. I mean, they're like 3rd or 1st, actually, in the last 2 weeks in weighted runs created. So their offense has been on. I mean, hopefully the rest day didn't mess up a rhythm that they had, but usually, they get a little practice in, they take a couple swings, they relax, and they feeling good. They're on a little nice run. Yeah, I like the road dog here today. Not the road dog. The road. Are they the dog? Or as you said, it's tight, right?
No, they're favored. -135.
Yeah. I think I like them today. It's a good day for a road favorite. It feels like it's a nice Tuesday night game. The Red fans aren't really going to be tuned in. It's a game they probably drop behind Santillan, if that's how you Santillan. I don't even know. But okay. Kansas City Royals, Boston Red Sox. This is another one to me that just screams over. I mean, this is another incredible hitting environment tonight. I don't know if you're seeing the same. Actually, no, I'm thinking of maybe a different night. I saw the wrong game. This is okay. This is an okay day for total runs. It's an okay day for the VMI. I don't know. Do you think?
Yeah, it's an okay day overall, but it's good for Boston. Boston's the one city, like even unlike New York and other times, 61 on the air density index is not something we see all the time. It's usually a 63, 64 when some of the other environments are hovering 61, 58, somewhere in that range. So it is good for Boston. Market hasn't moved at all. I think the number is appropriate, 10.5. Had it opened at 10 or 9.5, obviously would have been hammering the over on it, but
Yep.
I have it right there. It's 10.6 runs, like not a massive edge on it. Do I think it can get there? Obviously, it definitely can. The question mark is obviously also always going to be the Kansas City Royals, right? And what are they going to contribute to the total? Pivetta could navigate this lineup at times. So I'll be staying away from the total. I don't hate it if you want to lean over. I think the Maestro has a play on Brad Keller under, I believe, on the strikeout prop. So can't say that I hate it, but no real thoughts on it other than I think that of all the plus weather spots, this one is probably the most efficient on the market on the number.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree with that. It's just, it's tough. The market has moved a lot this morning. There has been a lot of action. Things came out a little mispriced. And with a weather day like today, it sometimes isn't as factored in. And betting markets pick up on things. They pick up on who's expected to be in rosters and how, who's pitching in these environments. There's just some also favorable pitchers in some of these matchups. We talk about Keller, you talk about Pivetta. Keller, he's just, kind of cold across the board. This is the type of guy who you maybe want to play like a first run score type of game on a first run, the Red Sox team total over is probably in play tonight against him. The first 5 run line, he's just a pitcher that you probably want to fade and will be profitable fading over the long term. So that might be a play for me tonight. I don't really like Keller. I think he's been a good guy to sort of go against. We can get into the numbers, but maybe I'll do that a little later.
Yep. No, it makes a lot of sense. It kind of classifies as one of those, but even you saw it last night. Royals jumped out early, still ended up losing that game. You hear me talk about it a lot where you can blindly play those plus 200s. I'm not even comfortable saying that this is one of those.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know if there's a distinct sharp side. Actually, wow, it looks like there is some sharp money on Kansas City, but the public's on Boston. So I don't know. That 6.40 ERA, 6-8 for Keller. When you have an ERA like that, but still have 6 wins, it's just like he's factoring into his decisions so much. Like he's either going to be on and he's going to do okay, and he's probably going to beat a subpar team, or he's just going to get walloped. And I don't know. These Red Sox, you usually don't want to go against the team that's streaking like this. It's usually not worth the money to fade them, especially against a team that isn't winning in the Royals. I'd be on the Red Sox tonight to get it done, and probably their team total again. Like I said, their first 5. When I really think a team is likely to do it, I don't really love money lines are they're tough, right? They're tough because you're trying to handicap bullpens, and handicapping bullpens is one of the hardest things to do. One of the easiest ways to do it. One of the easiest ways to do it is really just to take a look at which of the pitchers have been used in certain bullpens. There's obviously ways to look at who has pitched recently, and who is being used, who's lost recently, which closers have been used in the last 2 nights. And I think if you take a look at Kansas City, they actually do have Holland and Barlow ready to go tonight. But that, I'm excited about that. Holland's awful, but we'll see.
Right.
I think I like the Red Sox.
Yeah, I'm definitely not playing it, but like you said, you'd normally condition to think that it's one I'm going to say you blindly play the plus 200 if you want. Yeah, not the case for me tonight. Not the case.
Yeah, but I think there's a couple more games. I'll quickly. I think we're probably only going to keep the show here to 35 minutes. We are going to be on the 5 p.m. show tonight, so we will be able to break down a bunch more of these games. We'll probably pick up with some of the ones that we like the most. There's some good hitting conditions in Atlanta. The Houston Astros, they better win tonight. I'm not sure if I'm backing them. They lost to the Orioles. That wasn't pretty. Pittsburgh Pirates on the road, always a good fade. Rockies at home, always a plus thing for them. So I don't hate that. And we'll talk about some other games later, but I'll probably have a good number of plays tonight. I do actually really like this slate. Probably a couple run lines, first fives. Again, the totals have moved, right? The market has moved. The market has moved this morning. So we'll talk about maybe some value on the sides and the spreads a little later tonight. But until then, we will see you Thursday for Market Movers then.
Yep. We'll see you guys. Make sure you tune in. That's on Sportsline tonight. 5 p.m. Eastern is when that's going to start. We'll have a lot more content over there at that time. And we'll see you guys soon.